Snowboard Pro Camp live chat. Today I'm coming to you guys from Italy. I've actually been spending the last few days visiting the Union Binding Factory, so I'm stoked to talk to you guys about that, but also to answer any of your snowboard questions. So if anything's on your mind, definitely hit me up in the comments. Looking forward to talking to you guys and just answering any of your questions. Yeah, quick just overview of what I've been doing about the last week. So the last 2 days I've been spending it in the Union Binding Factory, making a video about the factory itself, some of the things that they're doing there with like the equipment they use to create the bindings, the process, some of the development stages. And yeah, it was really a really cool experience being in the factory, seeing some of the parts being made and assembled, and also seeing just like the planning that goes into it. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about that, I'm happy to talk to you guys about it. And should have the video. It's going to take me a while to get this video out. I did a lot of filming. It may be a few weeks, but yeah, had a great time. Shout out to all the people that work at Union for like having me like come to the factory, and met just like so many friendly people that work there. And then before that, I was actually in Hintertux, Austria. And the surprising thing about that is that we actually got quite a few powder days. So I was like planning on only riding the terrain park in Hintertux, and we ended up getting like one day we had a 50 centimeter POW day. That video is already up. There's another day where we had a bit of snow, maybe like 15 centimeters. And then the second last day we rode there, it was like another like 40 centimeter POW day. And we found this area of like untouched POW where we did have to hike out of, but it was pretty crazy to be in Austria in October, getting like powder runs in. So that was pretty special. I think I only rode like a couple days of park riding, and the rest of it was like powder runs. So really crazy time in Austria, and then drove from Hintertux 5 hours to here in the northern part of Italy, to the Union Binding Factory, and yeah, spent 2 days in the factory just learning as much as I can. Pretty cool. I got to see like how they make prototype parts with like a 3D printer. So they have these like massive HP printer machines where they can actually print 3D prototype parts and like test them out on the snow. So that was really cool to see. Also how they like create the carbon pieces. So like there's pieces of carbon in the highbacks, and also full carbon highbacks, and I got to see how they like make those. And yeah, just some of the design elements as well, some of the like planning that goes into making bindings. So that was pretty interesting. So and that was kind of like a connection through after making the Capita video. If you guys haven't seen the Capita mothership video, definitely check that one out. But a connection through that brought me over to the Union Factory. So hopefully can continue this and make some more of these type of videos for you guys. But it was fun to make the video. I'm looking forward to getting it up for you guys at some point. But I feel over the last couple weeks I've almost been like in snowboard product like school, learning about how boards are made, about how bindings are made. And it's one thing to like read about it, or to like you can do lots of research, but to actually be in the place where it's being made and like seeing the products being made, and like and also like talking to the people making the products, like it really gives you like a whole other understanding. So that was really cool. Yeah, I feel like I could go back to each place and even learn even more. There's just so much to learn about snowboards and bindings. I was really surprised by the bindings. Like I didn't know there would be so much to learn about what goes into making bindings. Like I was, to be honest, like coming in, I was a little bit worried about what I was going to be filming, what it was going to be. But once I got in there, there's so much that goes into it with like the machines, with the planning, the people, like the size of the factory, and then also just the the scale of it with the employees and everything. So and it's in a really cool place here in Italy as well. In the north of Italy, it's there's like mountains. We're right on Lake Como, so it's a really cool place. But yeah, so that's what's been happening. And then the next plan is we're gonna hang out in Italy for a bit longer, and maybe go snowboarding in Sardinia. So Sardinia is like attached to same terrain park as it's on like the Italian side of Zermatt. So you also have the Zermatt ski area on in the same area, and so we might go there in a week or so and do a few weeks of snowboarding. So lots going on. Yeah, let's see what you guys are up to. Answer if you guys have any questions. Hit me up about anything, whether it's if you have any questions about technique, about gear, about traveling, about the upcoming season, anything at all. If you guys have any questions about union bindings or snowboarding in Europe at the moment, definitely hit me up. All right, tons of people on already. Lots of likes. Thanks so much for the comments, guys. Cruz says, should I pair the Stratas with the Scott Stevens snowboard? Yeah, that's a good combo. You have like kind of like a bit of that's what I have at the moment. So I've got this Union Stratas with the Capita Scott Stevens. I've been riding that board a few times with the same bindings, and it's like a good combo because the Scott Stevens board is like kind of like a mid-flexing to soft board, and the Stratas are the same kind of thing, like that mid-flexing binding with straps that are like not too like rigid either. So it's a good combo. Like I really like it. Good board for like butters, for jibs, and I think for like beginner to intermediate park riding too. Camille wants to know, are the boys going to Japan again? Yeah, I think we're gonna try to go to Japan. I guess we'll see what happens if it's open. I haven't looked into it much if like Canadians can go to Japan, but 100% I want to go back to Japan. We're thinking maybe this year going to Miyako for a trip, which is a little bit different. So, but we'll see what happens with everything that's happening. All right. Ethan said, so Kev, now that you've been there, would you say that they are the best binding company overall? Like if I had to buy bindings, would you go Union? Well, it's hard to say because I've only visited one factory, but after visiting, it's like when you go someplace and you get to know the people, it's like you start to see like the hard work that goes into it. So before, I always did like Union anyway. Like I've owned, I think like 4 different models of Union bindings: the Atlas, the Strata, the Forces, and the Contact Pros. And earlier this summer, I actually bought the 2021 Forces and Stratas, and I've really enjoyed riding them already. And I think it's like because I already liked the products and I thought they were well made already, going to the factory was kind of like a bonus. And so now that I've seen everything, all the behind the scenes and what goes into it, I like the bindings even more now. And yeah, I don't know if they're the best like in the world and like everything like that, but I know that they're really, they're great bindings. The people put a lot of effort into it, and yeah, it was cool to see. But yeah, like I like them a lot. And last year I had the Now Drive and bindings, and also the bent metal transfer bindings. I like those ones as well. But yeah, the year before that I was riding Union, and I've gone back to it this year. So I think they make really good products. All right. Tommy's saying the ride Twin Pig went from a medium to soft stiffness. Does it affect all the good abilities that came from last year? Oh, did it? Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting that they changed it up a bit. I think it just may. I think that means that you know, if it's a bit of a softer, like a Twin Pig, it's if it's supposed to be like a more park-oriented board, then a softer flex is going to be maybe better for maybe like a bit more like mellow park riding, maybe smaller park features, butters, things like that. So I haven't ridden the Twin Pig, but yeah, it's supposed to be a great board, and it kind of depends. It's like you want a stiffer Twin Pig if you like riding at high speeds for doing larger features, and you want a softer Twin Pig for doing more like buttery tricks and more jibs. So it kind of is up to what style of riding you like to do. If it is getting softer or stiffer is going to determine like that board if you're going to like that board or not. So yeah, that's it's up to your riding style. Andrea is saying, do you have any goals which you want to reach in this season? Yeah, for myself, like just my personal goals, I think one goal for the channel would just be to keep making like different types of content for you guys. So like I love making the videos and I love making tutorials and everything, but just to like continue to push my own like video making skills. Like I think doing the Capita factory video and also the Union factory video, that's like something new. So that's like a new challenge. So I guess one goal is keep doing new challenges. The other like, man, it's like, I don't know, like if, in my park riding, I think my one goal is to just keep riding, to keep snowboarding with like really enthusiastic and like fun people to ride with. So I hope that I have like a bunch of people that I hope I get to ride with, and that's definitely a goal, is to like ride with some like just have some really good times with some good friends. No like specific like goals outside of that. Just ride with some good friends and yeah, have some good times, and then push have some like new challenges in terms of like the channel. That would be good. Hound says, it's dope Union allows you to buy carbon highbacks. Gonna put them on the Stratas since they got rid of ultras this year. Love the response from Carbon. Oh, interesting. That's awesome. That's coming from Hound. So yeah, it's cool. The carbon highback is pretty neat. It's like, yeah, it is very rigid and light. And yeah, I actually got to watch a carbon highback being like forged, which is pretty cool. It's like a massive machine, like 2 stories tall, and it brings down like all this weight onto it's like a little square of carbon that gets like pushed into a mold that's molded like the shape of a highback. And yeah, it was really cool to see one being made. And then yeah, they take it from there and they kind of like polish it up and paint it and everything. But yeah, those carbon highbacks are pretty awesome. I've never ridden a carbon highback before, so I'll have to check. I'll hopefully get to ride some this year. All right, I'm gonna try to keep up with the questions. You guys are bringing me tons of great questions, so I'm gonna try to keep up here. Eric Murphy says, thoughts on the Malavita Burton bindings. Yeah, I think Burton Malavita, I used to ride those for like many years. The one issue I have, I guess, with like some Burton bindings is the EST system on Burton boards with like the two screws that go into the channel. Because for me, like when I had those bindings, I would like the bindings would sometimes come loose, even if I was like trying to tighten them every day. And sometimes you would get like your bindings like sliding apart, or like either sliding it all the way apart, or like one would go one way or one would go the other way. So that was like the only issue I had with Burton bindings. And the last time I bought Malavitas too, I had some issues with like the buckles and the ladders like getting stuck. So I'm sure they've like sorted out those problems, but for me, I just had a couple of problems with the Malavitas that, um, yeah, I haven't gone back since. But I know they do make good bindings, but yeah, it's I don't know, maybe maybe I'll have to try Malavitas again at some point. Santiago says, I'm going to study in Whistler for 6 months. Should I buy a snowboard, and what board would you recommend? Santiago, that's awesome, man. Yeah, you're going to study in Whistler for 6 months. Amazing. Yeah, start with an inexpensive board, and yeah, if you can get your own setup, that's the way to do it. Yeah, specific board, I would just like, the best bet is actually to buy your snowboard setup in Vancouver if you can. Vancouver has like it's less expensive to buy your setup in Vancouver, or if you're, I don't know where you're flying from, but if you have a stopover like somewhere, if you're going to be in the U.S., it's cheaper to buy stuff in the U.S. as well. But yeah, in terms of like if it's your first board, just start with an inexpensive board. That's always the best bet. Adrian wants to know, how long are you staying in Europe for? So at the moment we're gonna stay until like mid-November. So we keep pushing our flight back. We were only supposed to come here for 3 weeks, but the snowboarding has been really good. There's nothing in Whistler. I guess they're getting snow now, but there hasn't been much snowboarding in Whistler, so that's why we've stayed in Europe. And there's just been some really fun opportunities that popped up, like getting to make a video in the Capita factory and the Union factory and the POW days in Austria. So a lot of good reasons to stick around. So at the moment, it's going to be like mid-November. We'll stay here. Leo says, I just bought the 2021 Forces. Good buy or no? Yeah, I think a good buy. I also bought the 2021 Forces a couple months ago, and I like them. I like the new ankle strap. It's like that more 3D molded strap, which I really like. And yeah, they're like a bit of a medium to stiff flex rating, so you can like definitely carve with them. You can kind of do everything with the Forces. They're not like the best binding for park because they're a little bit stiffer, but you can ride them the whole mountain. So I would say, yeah, good buy. Andrew saying, Kevin, thoughts on the Flow rear entry bindings? The couple, I'm sure like flows are great, but there's like two problems that I've seen people run into with flows and the rear entry. One is like when it's very snowy out, if you're like in powder, for example, and you have to put your board on, putting your boot in with like if there's any snow on your boot or inside the binding, it makes it difficult to do that rear entry system with snow on your boot or in the binding. So that's like one drawback. And then the other drawback is that you always have to be on your toes to put your foot in. So if you find yourself on a slope and you're on your heels, you can't put your bindings on. You always have to go over onto your toes. So that's like one drawback, or those are two drawbacks. Always having to be on your toes to put your foot in, and also the snow can kind of jam things up. But yeah, other than that, they are very like quick and convenient to get into. So if you're like on a small resort with a small chairlift doing like 100 laps a day, the speed of getting in and out definitely they're a bit faster. Cameron wants to know, do you wear safety gear every time you ride? So I always wear a helmet, like 100% of the time I'm wearing a helmet. If I'm riding in the terrain park, I wear like impact shorts. So they're just like shorts that have some extra like protection at your tailbone and like on the side of your, like your hips. Because a few years ago, like 7 or 8 years ago, I hit my tailbone and it's like the worst pain. So ever since then, I've been wearing impact shorts in the terrain park. But yeah, some people wear knee pads, some people wear elbow pads. I think if you're a beginner, it's a good idea to wear wrist guards. Um, and yeah, even like you can even get like a spine protector. So there's lots of stuff to get. But I think like for a beginner, the three things you should definitely have is a helmet, wrist guards, and the impact shorts, just to protect your tailbone and protect your wrists and protect your head. Romuald is saying, is Union Force good with the Super DOA? Yeah, that's a good combo because the Super DOA, it's like a stiffer flex, kind of do everything board, and the Forces are like a stiffer flex, do everything binding. So I think that's a really good combo. Kim Tae is saying, do you need to bring a probe and shovel and transmitter when riding in Niseko, Japan? It kind of depends. Like if you are riding inbounds, then you don't need to. But if you are going out of bounds, then it is a good idea to have that stuff. Just in case. So yeah, I think like yeah, even like the gates. So they have gates in Niseko where they like do some controls outside of the gates, and they won't open the gates unless it's safe. But yeah, I don't know. I would err on the side of caution and maybe bring that stuff. Um, Especially like if you go, yeah, it is like it's a tough call. Like in the resort, you should be fine, but then again, they do get so much snow, and there honestly there are some places like even out of the gates if they've still um, done everything to like make it safe. There's definitely some hazards there with like some um, small gullies that you can get into, like just little powder trap areas where it's possible that something could happen. So I would say it's better to err on the side of caution and bring all that stuff and maybe take an avalanche course as well so that you know how to use it. But yeah, it depends. If you're staying inside the resort, you don't need it. If you're venturing out a little bit, then I think you definitely do. Ryan saying plans to come to Utah this season. Yeah, I'd really like to go to Utah. I've never been there. I've heard great things. Um, but yeah, I definitely would like to go. I'm going to try to go to Utah this year. Samuel saying, bro, what do you think is better, switchback bindings or union bindings? I'd go with union just because I've owned them for lots of years. I just went to the factory. Switchback I'd probably get too, but I would go with union. Alexander says, what's your music playlist while you ride? I usually don't listen to music while I ride, but I do a few artists I like. I really like the rapper Action Bronson, so I listen to him quite a bit. And yeah, what else do I listen to besides Action Bronson? Um, oh, to be honest, I've like yeah, I can't think of anything else. I've been listening to a ton of Action Bronson. Maybe some like classic rock. I also like yeah, some maybe some classic rock tunes. Someone's saying the Union Flight Pros. I'm riding on them right now, and they're amazing. Nice, awesome, Connor. You're riding them right now. I think I saw somebody ask like, what's an inexpensive pair of unions, and the Flight Pros are like the entry level binding, so they should be an inexpensive pair. Kiv A says, what's the difference between mini disc and normal disc? Do you feel it when switching from one to another? Yeah, good question. So I think you do feel it. So the mini disc, it gives like there's a bit more play in the binding, and so I think it gives you that more like loose feel on your board. So where like the full size disc, you just like it's a bit more aggressive feeling. So yeah, I think you do feel it, especially like, and then on when you pair it with a softer board as well, then it lets your board flex a little bit more naturally with the mini disc. So yeah, I think it's a good idea. The mini disc for more flexible boards, for doing more like butters, or for more park, or just more of that style of snowboarding where it's a bit more like cruisy. I think the mini disc is good. That gives you that more like surf skate feel as you go down through the park, or for doing tricks. Ethan saying, also Kev, I bought the Epic local pass this year, and I'm really excited to get out west for my first time. I've locked to the east. But on the pass, Whistler is on there. But what about the closed borders? Yeah, Ethan, I hope that the border opens so that we can go snowboarding in each other's countries. But yeah, I think if you're in the States and with the closed border, you may not be able to come to Whistler. I don't know, maybe look into it. Maybe just keep an eye on it, see if, I heard something that you can fly between countries, but you just can't drive. So maybe like look into that. That's like one thing I heard, that you may be able to fly, but yeah, I'm not sure. Pradesh saying, where will you ride tomorrow? Hintertux. No, I'm not in Hintertux anymore, so I'm in Italy now. But yeah, I wish I was still in Hintertux. Awesome place. But yeah, the next place I'll be snowboarding is probably going to be like in Cervinia, or like Zermatt, I guess. But that's not going to be until around like November 7th. So I've got a little bit of time off of snowboarding, but I do have like a ton of videos coming out from Hintertux. So Dream wants to know, hey Kevin, what tricks should I learn in the park first? I think the first tricks to learn would be like a tail press, just like on the snow doing a tail press. If you take it into, also you can, yeah, learn how to ollie, getting your ollie down, ollie, nollie, tail press, nose press. And then outside the park, doing 180s, front side 180, back side 180. And then once you're comfortable with all that, you can try to do a 50-50 on a box, just riding straight across. And then maybe taking it to like a board slide on a box. And then first trick on a jump would be an indie grab. So that's your like backhand reaching between your feet on your toe edge for a grab. But yeah, those are a few tricks, but like there's no rules. You can learn whichever ones first as you want. So just get creative and learn as many as you can. Elliot says, the step-on bindings from Burton, I'm thinking about getting them for the upcoming season. Any pros and cons? Yeah, so I think with the step-ons, the pro is that they're like really quick and convenient. So it's gonna allow you to get from the chairlift into the bindings really quickly. But the con is I think you do lose some performance. So it depends on like what is the most important thing to you. Like, so is the most important thing having bindings that are like really giving you good performance and like feel good? Then if that's the most important things, then maybe don't get Burton step-ons. But if the most important thing is like getting in quickly to do like another lap as fast as possible, then the step-ons are probably the way to go. So that's the trade-off. you get to get in the bindings quicker, but then they're a bit more expensive. The performance isn't quite there, and you also have less choice in boots too. So a couple things to consider. All right, we got a super chat. Gonna see who's the super chat person. All right, super chat from Adam Harms. What's up, Adam? Thanks for tuning in, man. Adam saying, "Hey Kevin, I just picked up some 2021 Forces to replace my Strata as my everyday park binding, and I'm trying to decide whether to buy the new Atlas as freeride binding or if the Forces will be fine." Oh wow, Adam. Good question, man. So honestly, like, I think the Forces are kind of a that binding that can do both. They can do park and free riding. So I would try out the Forces as like a do everything, and see how that works. Because the Atlases are, yeah, they're definitely stiffer, and like the straps and the structure. So, but the Forces are not far away. So maybe try out the Forces first, and then if you're not feeling it 100%, then go with the Atlas. But yeah, good question, man. Where are you gonna ride them? Do you have plans to travel? Or I guess, yeah, New Zealand is kind of tough at the moment, but I guess you might be getting some sales on union bindings at the moment as well. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's I feel like you're gonna buy them anyway, but you could probably get away with the Forces, but yeah, maybe pick up the Atlas if you feel like it, man. But yeah, thanks for the super chat, Adam. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, miss not seeing you and Haley this year, but hopefully I'll see you guys at some point soon. Miss you guys. Christina says, "Show us one of your snowboard tricks." I can't do any snowboard tricks here, Christina. I need snow and a board and a mountain. I'm missing a few things. Nathan says, "Hey, I was wondering what stiffness boot I should get if I'm gonna ride like 75% park and 25% groomers and POW. I was thinking medium, but I want to hear your opinion." Awesome, Nathan. So I think if you're gonna ride 75% park, maybe go with a bit of a softer boot. So maybe like if a medium is like a 5, then go for like a 4. Just on the softer side of medium. Then you'll get more of the more park oriented boot that will still work for like the groomers and for POW. But yeah, the two boots that come to mind, like, so the Vans High Standard Pro, they're around that range in flex. And also the Adidas Sambas are also maybe slightly stiffer, maybe like a 4.5 or a 5 on the stiffness. But yeah, I like you're on the right track. I think like medium flex, but you could just go like a little bit softer if you're doing 75% park. And then yeah, when you try the boots on, just like keep them on your feet for a while in the store and make sure they're comfortable. Because yeah, you want to make sure you have a nice comfortable pair of boots for the winter as well. Tim says, "Is it harder to learn with a wide board?" Yeah, I think it's like a little bit harder to learn with a wide board just because it takes like that extra second to go from edge to edge. So you do want to get the board that is like the right size for you. So I would say if you have boots that are size 10.5 and under, you can just go with the regular type of board, regular width. But if you have like over 10 and a half boots, then you may want to look at a wide board. But there's also boards that are like mid-wide as well. So if you're on that borderline, like 10 and a half, 11, 11 and a half, then maybe check out some of the mid-wide snowboards. But yeah, if you have like size, if you're over that, then definitely get a regular wide snowboard. And yeah, it is like a little bit, just a little bit harder to learn on because it's like that extra bit of board that you have to move from edge to edge. All right, sweet. We got Engen on the chat as well, one of the moderators. Thanks, Engen, for tuning in and for helping to answer questions as well, man. Rona is saying, hey, Kev, when you going to Bachelor again in Bend, Oregon? Yeah, I hope soon. Like if the border was open, I think Bend would be, and Mount Bachelor would be one of the first places I go to this year. I love riding there. It's a cool, really cool town. Yeah, awesome place. I'll let you know. As soon as I know that I'm going there, I'll let everyone know. Jonathan Nichols with the super chat says, hey Kevin from Barrie, Ontario, when are you going back to Whistler? I'll probably be back in Whistler like mid to late November. That's when I'll be back. But yeah, Jonathan, thanks for the super chat, man. Shout out to everyone in Barrie, Ontario. Yeah, I'm from not far from there. I was born in Oshawa, Ontario, so not far from Barrie. Kyle wants to know, do you have any tips on frontside 360s? Yeah, a couple tips. One would be make sure that you can carve well on your heels, because for the frontside 360, you really want to come off of like a clean heel edge, like a carving heel edge. So being able to carve well on your heels helps. Make sure you get like that clean pop straight up into the air. Sometimes when you're on your heels, it's harder to like jump straight up, and being able to carve will also help you to jump off of that heel edge. And then also like try not to spin like a full 360. Try to spin like 270 and then twist the last like 90 degrees. I think if you can do that, then you'll get a 360 for sure. And start someplace that's like easy, like just like on a side bank somewhere, like where there's like a side bank on your heels where you can ride up and like pop a 360, or just like a small like natural jump helps as well. Doug Hunt says, yeah, Doug Hunt says, hey Kevin, I see you have the new Atlas behind you there. What do you think? Have you had the chance to take it on snow? So yeah, those are some new Atlases, and I haven't been able to take them on snow yet. I stole those from the factory, and yeah, no, I've just been looking at them so far, but hopefully I should be riding them in the next few weeks. I wish I had them like when I was in Hintertux, because I was riding lots of powder, but yeah, at some point soon, I'll be riding them. All right, thanks for all the questions, guys. Just gonna get caught up here. Addison saying, think you will go to Stevens Pass again? Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I had a really great time in Stevens Pass last year. The town, the people, the resort, everyone, like everything was like amazing in Stevens Pass. So that was one of my favorite trips for sure last year. I remember the highlight was, I think it was a Saturday, and we got like off like one of the top chairs and just like straight into like one of the steepest, like most powdery, best tree runs of my life. It was amazing. So Stevens Pass was awesome. the people were like super friendly. I remember there's this. I wish I could remember his name, but there was a guy there who just like decided like to he was gonna show us around. So we had somebody like showing us around who was like super nice guy, and met tons of people at the resort too. Like everyone was so friendly. So definitely want to go back to Stevens Pass, and yeah, such a cool place. Engine saying Snowboard Pro Camp. When are you gonna move to Europe? I basically have. Yeah, I've been here for like 3 months. Yeah, Europe is awesome. Um, the difficult part is all the different languages, and uh, yeah, that's the hardest part is the language barrier. But yeah, Europe is amazing. Italy is pretty cool too. For like the food here is so good, and um, yeah, Europe is awesome. Yeah, maybe someday I'll have like a little place somewhere in the Alps, a little cabin. That'd be pretty cool. Uh, the cro- the crony man saying, any tips on hitting really big jumps? Really big jumps, I think. Yeah, it's like you definitely want to be comfortable with speed. So for yeah, the bigger the jumps, the more speed you need. And I feel like if you can like get used to like riding with some speed and being able to like control your edges. So as you're riding, like um, moving your edges quickly so that you can control your speed as you go. Because I feel like that's like the thing. It's like if you can ride fast, like anybody could ride fast, but then like can you ride fast and then slow yourself down and like feel in control? So the more that you can ride with speed, be in control, and then also just like building up to it. So like if even if I've hit like a larger jump in previous days, like when I go back the next day, I'll always start small, then go to the mediums before like hitting the large jump, just to like build up that progression. And yeah, I think it's definitely the speed. Once you're like comfortable with the speed. Another thing is like if you have an opportunity to get onto a trampoline and like do some trampoline training, that's like a good way to build your like air awareness and like feeling comfortable being like really high in the air and like keeping your balance. So yeah, lots of things, but yeah, being comfortable with speed I think is maybe one of the most important. And like also watch other people hit a large jump so that you can see like what the speed is. Because if you see other people hitting it and seeing like it's like recently I was at a jump in Zermatt and I could see like where people were pointing straight from, and then I just did the same thing and it worked out. So watching other people's speed really helps. Nick saying, I'm debating on getting either the Union Strata or Union Force for my DOA. Nick, I would say like, yeah, go with it just depends. I think the Strata is a bit more leaning towards park, and the Force is leaning a bit towards like all mountain. So depends on what you want to do more of, or which one do you want to get better at more. Do you want to get better at riding more park? Then maybe the Strata. And if you want to get better at like carving and maybe some like powder runs, then maybe go with the Force. Another super chat from M. Norton. Thanks for the support, man. Says, um, my head, my head's too big to fit in a beanie and goggles inside my helmet, which is unfortunate. Already have an XL Mod 1 helmet. Any tips? Oh no. Uh, can you take like, so the XL Mod 1, is that the Oakley helmet? I don't know if there's any like, so what I do is I also wear an XL helmet, and I actually have to take out some of like the padding, not like the padding for safety, but the padding for comfort out of the helmet sometimes. So maybe if there's any extra padding that's just for comfort, you can take some of that out. Also maybe try to find a thinner beanie. I don't know if you have a Snowboard Pro Camp beanie, but if yeah, that's something like I definitely can't wear a thick beanie under my helmet. It just won't fit. So try to find a thin beanie. Take out any extra padding that's just for comfort, and yeah, I think that's it. M Norton, yeah, but thanks for the support, man. Oh, Adam Harms with another super chat. Thanks, Adam. You're a legend, man. Says, uh, yeah, well, just for next season in NZ, but I'm hoping to get to Japan in January or February if I can, and hopefully Tim will still be there. But mainly trying to decide if I should get the Alice before moving to Whistler in a year. Oh, awesome, man. Um, yeah, I don't know. I would still try the Forces first. I think you're gonna really like them. But yeah, the Atlas are like that more. Uh, they're definitely more beefy for like riding powder for like carving. But the Force isn't far off, so I mean you can't go wrong either way. But yeah, I hope you get out there to ride in Japan with Tim. I hope the border opens and you guys can travel over there. I'm super jealous that Tim stuck it out and he's still there. That's amazing. And yeah, that's awesome that you're planning on moving to Whistler too. That's going to be fun. We'll have to keep in touch, Adam, and see what your plan is and the process because yeah, I guess you'll be applying for your work visas in a little while. But that's awesome, man. Yeah, we'll be in touch, Adam. Thanks for the super chat, man. Mr. Axel asks, how long is your snowboard? So I'm 180 pounds, and my park snowboard is a 158, and my powder snowboard. So I bought two new powder snowboards. The Battalion Surfer I bought is a 159, and the Jones Ultra Mind Expander is a 162. So yeah, if you're curious about what size board you should get, just like find the sizing chart and then go by your weights. I think that's the best call. All right, just gonna get caught up a little bit on the questions. Cedric says, do Snowboard Pro Camp beanies ship to Europe? They do, but we're all sold out at the moment. With all the traveling and stuff, it's been hard to like get the beanies back in and like just have some place to ship them to. So at the moment they're sold out, but we'll keep you posted if we get more beanies in. Nathan wants to know, what do you think will be the next innovation in snowboarding? I think you're gonna see more, maybe like more 3D like type boards. So with like the bases and the tip and tail and everything, there's gonna be, I think, more and more 3D technology going into it. But yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. It's like a tough one. There's like, who knows what's the next innovation is going to be. But yeah, with the technology they have, with like the way they're putting all these different products into boards with like carbon and bamboo and like recycled plastics, maybe it could be actually the next trend could be in like having recycled materials in snowboards. Because I think you can get some like really lightweight recycled materials that can go into the boards. Oh, I do know one innovation, but I can't remember if I'm allowed to talk about it. Maybe stay tuned for the next live chat next week because I can ask somebody if I'm allowed to talk about something in board like board technology. But yeah, there's one that I know of which is pretty interesting. But yeah, I'll let you guys know about it next week because I can't remember if I'm allowed to talk about it. But yeah, there's some cool things coming out for sure. Uh, Trudge Trudgemank 95 says, "Yo Kevin, do you have a favorite ankle strap? I have forces, but I've had some occasional issues with circulation, so I'm thinking about swapping out the straps, maybe just for the new force straps." Yeah, that's a really good point. I had the same, not the same problem, but the same issue with the old straps on the forces, as I felt like they're, to me, they're a bit too restrictive. And the new ones are definitely like different. They're very different. So the new force straps are that like 3D kind of like all one piece molded strap. So I think they are much better, more comfortable, and I think they're like, yeah, much more comfortable and not give you any of those problems with like pressure points. But if you're looking for something like even softer, then maybe look at the style of strap that's on the Stratas or the Contact Pros, because that strap is even more like just soft and with even less pressure points. So if you have any issues with like circulation, then maybe, yeah, either the new Force ankle strap or the Strata or the Contact Pros. Eldon with the super chat, thanks for the support, man. Says, stoked to see you doing these live chats. Keep up fire content. How do you know if you need a wide board? Looking into getting the DOA, but not sure if I need it wide. Can't wait till Big Bear opens. Awesome, Eldon. Yeah, same. I love snowboarding at Big Bear. I would say the easiest way to tell is just by your foot size. So if you have, I can't remember exactly what it is, but I think if you have like size like 11 and over, or like even 10 and a half is kind of on the borderline. But like, yeah, you want to get a wide board, because having like your heels or toes drag in the snow is really not a good thing. So yeah, just go by your boot size. I think like to be safe, it's like if you have 11 size 11 boots, then you probably need to get a wide board. But you can check on the snowboard sizing chart. It'll tell you if you need a wide board as well. Yeah, hopefully I'll see you this winter at Big Bear. S Van with the super chat. Thanks for the support, man. Says, get Kevin back to Landgraf Fund. Awesome. Yeah, hopefully we'd love to get back to the indoor slope in Landgraf in the Netherlands. Yeah, such a fun spot. Bobby says, what's the first resort you're going to go to with winter season coming up in the US? For me, I'm in Virginia. Thanks, Kev. The vids are awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, thanks, Bobby. Most likely the first place I'll snowboard in North America will be Whistler, just because that's where I'm living, and the border is also closed between Canada and the US. So the options are limited. So probably Whistler first. And if the border stays closed, then maybe some more places across Canada. But yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, super chat from Erwin. Thanks for the support, man. Says, hey Kevin, I can't decide between the DOA or the outer space living. Which one would be better for a beginner intermediate rider? Outer space living. For some reason, I'm drawing a blank on the outer space living. So the DOA is a bit of a stiffer board. So beginner intermediate, I would go for the softer of the two. And I think the outer space living is a softer board, I'm pretty sure. If anyone in the chat can help me out, that would be appreciated. But the DOA is a great snowboard, but I think it's more like intermediate to advanced type board, where the outer space living may be better because it's I think it's probably a bit softer. But yeah, if anyone knows, help me out in the chat. But Erwin, yeah, appreciate the support, man, and yeah, hope the beginner and intermediate tutorials help you out as well. But yeah, maybe the outer space living. Somebody in the chat will know. But yeah, thank you for the support, man. All right, and Jen's backing me up. He says outer space as well. Okay, good. Outer space. Thanks, and Jen. And Jen says it's camber with rocker, a 5 out of 10. DOA camber flat, 5.5. Okay. Yeah, a few other ones to consider. Actually, like just while we're talking about the Capita boards, the Scott Stevens is softer as well. What's that one called? Maybe consider checking out the Horoscope. The Horoscope is going to be the softest of them all. And the Horoscope could be like the best for a beginner choice in snowboard. Donovan says, are the Oakley line miners and the Smith Squad XLs similar in size? Yeah, they are pretty similar. I would say, so I've had both. The Oakley line miners, I think you can see like a little bit more out the side. Where the Smith Squad XLs, like you still can see a lot. Also, the Oakley line miners, I think, fit a bit closer to your face. So the lens is closer to your eyes. With the Smith Squad XLs is a little bit further away. My personal preference, I like the line miners better. But yeah, it kind of depends on your face and your nose and everything. So maybe try both on. But yeah, for me, I like the line miners. But overall, very similar. I think the line miners maybe just have a little bit more like side view. Ooh, In Motion SLB saying the Ultra Fear is super soft too. It's a noodle. Yeah, the Ultra Fear could be a good option too, Erwin. All right, let's do another question, and then I might call it a night. I think so. Here in Italy, it is. I think it's like, what time is it? Maybe like midnight or like 11:30. It's funny because normally I do these live chats from Whistler, which is in like the Vancouver, like West Coast time zone, and I do them at like 3 p.m. Pacific time, which is like 11 p.m. in Europe. So now I'm doing live chats at 11, and it's definitely different. It's weird doing a live chat. It's kind of mellow. I think it's definitely more mellow, just like chilling at night doing a live chat. But I'm fading a little bit too. Like right after this, I'm gonna maybe have a snack and clean up this stuff and go to bed. But yeah, let me know, guys. How's the live chats when I'm doing them late at night compared to the middle of the day? All right. Okay, so the last question from Chris saying, how is the Capita Outsiders? Good question, man. Yeah, so I bought the Capita Outsiders a couple months ago, got to ride it in the Zermatt Terrain Park, and yeah, I really like it. It's definitely like a more intermediate to advanced park board, a bit stiffer, a bit more aggressive, but like lots of like pop in the tail. And yeah, I had fun on it. The one thing I like more about that board than some other boards that I've ridden in the past is that if I'm going to go sideways on like a rail or tube feature, the stiffness kind of just maintains and it doesn't flex too much on me. So that's what I like. It's a bit, that stiffness kind of makes you feel a bit more secure on features. It definitely, I don't think it's the best beginner type board, because if you're more of a beginner rider, then it's a bit aggressive because of the camber. But for like intermediate to advanced, it's like, I think, a really fun board. So I've been really enjoying it. I think it's a pretty awesome board. And one last shout out to Carrie Pierce. I think maybe tuning in a bit late. Carrie, what's up? Thanks for tuning in, Carrie, all the way from Australia. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Live chat anytime. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, we'll keep them coming whenever I can do them. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Just coming over the 1 hour mark. But yeah, I really appreciate everyone coming on for all your questions. And yeah, it's exciting. Snowboarding is starting up in a lot of places. We're getting snow in Whistler, here in Europe, and I hope you guys are getting some snow where you are. If you're in the southern hemisphere, I hope you guys had a good season, and hopefully people can travel for snowboarding this winter. But yeah, if I missed any of your questions, definitely hit me up in the comment section of any of the videos, because I try to answer all the questions in there as well. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys all have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you guys on here again soon. Awesome. Thanks. Later, guys.